If you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
Today's chat's been sponsored by Online Horse College. Online Horse College is a pathway of courses from foundation level through to becoming a qualified instructor, then going on to become a specialised advanced instructor as well. If you'd like to learn more about horses and receive a government-accredited qualification that's internationally recognised, then please go to onlinehorsecollege.com. Today's guest is Sue Franks. Now, Sue's a coach and a motivator. She's also an avid competitor, promoter. She's been successful in reining, Western performance rodeos, and also traditional English events. Her goal is to ask her clients to enjoy riding the horses as much as she enjoys riding, and believes if you smile, then your horse will smile as well. Sue, that is a lovely saying. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. I love that. If you smile, your horse will smile as well.
Yes, it's actually more than that. It changes your physiology while you ride and you relax on your horse. Therefore, things go better.
I'm smiling just thinking about it, so that's good. All right. Now, Sue, we normally start off with a favourite quote. So have you got one for us now? I know that you're going to cry, but don't cry with this one. Okay.
Okay. It's look, see, straight away.
Yep.
The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with the dust, sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again. Who knows the great enthusiasm, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement. This is the bit that gets me. And who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly.
Good on you. Good on you. This obviously means a lot to you. And I'm just going to ask you without, hopefully we'll sort of get a little, I think you need to think about riding with a smile and your horse smiling as well. But why does this quote mean so much to you? Why is it so inspirational?
Well, I think it's because this is what happens when you push through. I have a lot of nervous clients.
Yes.
And I've actually been hurt myself riding and had to push myself back to do it because I loved it so much. And the fear can take away the joy. And people get hung up with the victory of a buckle or a championship. And that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
The joy, the triumph is the doing.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And look, it's the same. It's the same with my clients. When they do something outstanding, I have won quite a lot of buckles and a lot of championships, and they were great, and I enjoyed them, and I partied after. But they were just a reward for my hard work. But when my clients go out and win, when they've worked hard, oh, my God, I sob.
Okay, I can understand. Yep.
I don't know why, but that quote always gets me. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And I'm sure it's not when they just go out and win. It's when they just go out and do well and achieve things as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, look, it's such a reward to know that you have helped someone enjoy it as much as you do.
Yep. Now, when did you start off? Because you deal with nervous riders. They're the main ones that you start teaching. When did you realise that you had a gift for helping people that are nervous, helping people that need to...
I don't know if I realised I had a gift. I wanted to teach riding when I was a teenager. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I was going to a Gila Pony Club in Mount Isa, and I was pretty bad. Borrowed horse, borrowed saddle. I own my bridle and my back.
You know what? I love it when people come from beginnings like that, that they really had to scratch around and didn't just get off at everything on a plate. So, yeah, keep going with your story. This is good.
I know. Yeah, I bought my first horse for $85. So I knew then, I also knew that it was going to take a lot, that teaching people wasn't a case of hanging out a shingle saying, just because I've got a ribbon or two at Pony Club I could ride. I knew it would take a lot to be good enough because you have to offer quality. Even back then I knew. So I basically just continued with my life, teenagers and your 20s, and then you go off track and you come back, and I just was a clinic junkie. Clinics after clinics, changed my horse sports a few times until I started helping friends while I was reining about 2003, 2004, and then decided I would teach. And helping friends, I could see that I could get my point across of what I needed them to learn. And for some reason, I could get them to do things that they wouldn't do on their own. And I don't know if I'm scary. Apparently I am, but yeah.
Maybe just encouraging.
Yeah, very vigorously encouraging.
Yep. Okay, so you sort of went from there. And what about, so your friends, were they nervous? I mean, you particularly deal with nervous riders now, but were they nervous, or are they just the people that are attracted to you, the ones that are nervous?
Yeah, some of them were. I think nervous riders are attracted to what they perceive my confidence and my courage. And in actual fact, in the early days, it was not confidence and it wasn't courage, it's bravado and fake it till you make it.
Okay. Is that what you tell them to do?
Oh, sometimes, yeah. Look, I'll tell them to do a few things. I now have quite a big toolbox for them.
Yep.
Fake it till you make it works because, you know, we all know with all the self-help stuff out there now, that visualization, the brain doesn't know the difference between visualizing something and doing it. You'll use the same muscles. So if they visualize it and they do it, they'll get there. The other thing I teach them is to celebrate the victories, the tiny victories. You have to celebrate them because the human brain is to the point where we jump to the negative and we'll do something brilliant in the context of riding, and then we'll go and pull it apart, especially women, because we tend to have low self-esteem to start with. So then we tear it apart and look for the bad things in it when in actual fact it was a really big deal and something that we've pushed through, and we need to celebrate it like men do. Men know it was good and they'll tell you it was good, where women go, oh, yeah, it was okay, but, you know, if I'd done this. So I try to teach that. We need to celebrate, set goals, work little goals to the big goal, and then celebrate the little victories all along the way. Mm-hmm. And also like-minded people around you. Always supportive of like-minded people.
Yep. And I love that you celebrate the tiny victories because they're so important, you know, because if you're just looking for the big victories all the time, if you think about the amount of people that say we go to a competition, you know, and there might be, depending on where you are, there might be half a dozen through to 100 competitors against you. So everyone thinks they're going to win. Not everyone's going to win. You've got to celebrate all those little things, you know, like my horse walked quietly. My horse did something. Well, there was a nice transition in that class. You know, there's the little things that you've got to celebrate. You've got to say, well, that was good. That was good. Otherwise, you'd just go insane.
You would. And I have clients who have trouble getting to a canter, and when they canter, the celebration might be they actually cantered and they could think during the canter. They just didn't canter and black out while they were riding.
Yes.
Because so many people with fear will do, you can push them and motivate them and get them to do something. But to get them to do it and have them still think is a huge thing. And they're riding 500, 600 kilogram animal that's quite dangerous. Yep. Even the quiet ones are dangerous.
Yes. And they might have been faking that they were confident and walk and trot. But if they get to canter and then freeze, then the horse is going to think what's going on, and they might likely to stop or prop or do something, and then the person falls off because they've frozen. But if they can just breathe through that transition, through the riding. That makes it so much better. Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah. So thinking about, because I know you've got a toolbox, you've said that you've got a big toolbox. And if I sort of give you a couple of instances, right? Someone who doesn't want to ride at all. I mean, they do want to ride, but they won't get on. They can't take that physical foot in the stirrup. They might have their horse saddled up, ready to go on the mounting block, and then they say, I just can't do it. What sort of things would you do to them?
Have you been to my lessons on the sly?
No.
I've actually said that. I just can't. And you go, Well, to start with,
because I hear about it. People tell me, and I just think, you know, they want to ride. Because if they didn't want to ride, they wouldn't even have the horse in the paddock. They wouldn't even go and spend the time and the effort to catch the horse and groom the horse and prepare the gear and get them ready and lead them over to the mounting block. They obviously want to ride, but can't pull themselves to ride. So I haven't been to your lessons, but I've seen a few nervous riders. So please tell me.
Well, the first thing, if they've got the horse there, it's saddled up and I'm there, and we get to that stage, I'll hang on to the horse. I'll hang on to the bridle, the stirrup, help them up. Usually I'll tell them to use a mounting block, so that once they're on the mounting block, they're actually mentally committed, even if they don't realise it. It's like when you are going to eat a donut, and then you say, no, I'm not eating that. I'm on a diet, I'm not eating that. And then you find yourself at the Krispy Kreme counter and you're buying it and you're going, why? So they're already standing there with the saddled horse. So they, on one level, are committed. Mm-hmm. But what they don't understand is that their subconscious is always stronger than their conscious brain. So you have to distract them a little bit. So you'll talk about whatever to distract them. I'll hang on to it and I'll say, you don't have to do anything but sit on the horse. You don't have to do anything. So I tell them a fib. I mean, they're going to do more eventually. Mm-hmm. But this is the first stepping stone. You're going to do nothing but get on. That is all we want. You get on. So then we'll talk them into just sitting on the horse and sitting on the horse. Just sit there. That's cool. I'll sit here with you. Mm-hmm. And then we'll just add to it. Could we just walk a little bit? Do you think you could just bend him around your leg? Let's just try this simple exercise.
Yes.
So we'll start with things like that, just one thing at a time. Also, I run clinics and you attract the same sort of people. And I'm very fortunate in that the people I've attracted in Southeast Queensland are very positive, supportive people, mm-hmm. lovely. And the group of women, and there's some very nervous ones in it, one's not so nervous. And what they'll do is, if I can then talk that person who can just sit and just walk into coming along to a clinic, those women themselves then will uplift them and help them on too. So it's not just me, it's a group. Okay. So that's what I mean by like-minded people. And they help as well. And even we'll work on little things that they won't realise that they're working on to move to. So if I've got, I can use this, for instance, she's a wonderful client who's been nervous, mm-hmm. had a bad accident, getting over that. And she's just done another clinic away, not one of mine. And she was telling me so excited today all about it, mm-hmm. what they did. And it was an outdoor clinic to go trail riding because she's great now in arenas, but getting out in the trail, which is what she wants, is scary. Yep. And all the things that they did in the trail, we've practiced in the arena repeatedly. Mm-hmm. Up there with the same nerves, she could now just get over the next hurdle, which was just not having the fence around her.
Yep. Okay.
So yeah, it's baby steps. There's no magic solution. It's just baby steps, and it's how you talk to the person all the time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering, because you've said that the subconscious brain is stronger than the conscious brain, and you've talked about visualization. So if they've been working and they're about to do a baby step, but they're not sure, worried, frozen, whatever, do you obviously do the visualization then to get them to take if they're not ready to take the next step, they think they're not ready to take the next step, you do the visualization then to get them ready for the next step?
Yes. So what we'll do is, while they're sitting on the horse, mm-hmm. I'll actually have to start breathing. And I'm really big on breathing on horse, how you breathe.
Yes.
So like it's the same sort of breathing as in yoga or in Pilates. So it's a 4 square breathing, four breaths in through the nose to the bottom of your stomach, push it to the abdomen, hold 1, 2, breathe out slowly through your mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, become conscious of the breath. So I'll start them with the breathing like that, make them work on that breathing. And then while they're doing that, I just start telling them what they're going to do and mm-hmm. keep breathing. And I just keep telling them in the positive what they're going to do and that they're capable. I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. There's people out there who are quadra and paraplegics, and they can do it. So if you've got the same arms, hands, what I've got, you can do this. And I just start talking them through what they can do and they're going to do while they practice their breathing. So it's like a little mini meditation on the mm-hmm. horse.
Yep.
And it's amazing, like even the more advanced ones who are trotting and caring, who can't get something, you can start this process and then tell them what they're going to do while they're doing it. And you've engaged the conscious brain. Mm-hmm. So the subconscious is getting pushed a bit to the back. And next thing, they're doing a beautiful lead transition or they're lifting the horse into a collected canter just because you've just given them the tools and told them they could.
Yep.
And that seems so simplistic. But there's another saying that I love, and it came out of Ian Francis' little book. Treat people as they treat people as they are, and they remain that way. Treat them as they can be, and we help them become what they're capable. Mm-hmm. So that, to me, it says everything, because if we're all treated as if we are going to achieve at the highest level, we will begin to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. These tools, you've obviously developed them over a long period of time. You've talked about Ian Francis. Anyone else that you've got these tools from? Or, are they also ones from outside the horse industry?
Oh, definitely. I go both. Ian's little book of sayings is just his winning attitude book is fantastic. Everyone should have it. Mm-hmm. I actually won my first national championship. I bought it read it. I was having one of those little, what do you call them, a pity party at a national show.
Yes.
I read that all night, had a sleep, woke up and went out and won a very big class.
Okay.
And I'm okay. So that means the brain is stronger than I realised. It sort of made me think a bit. Yeah, definitely. That outside of it, I will take myself off, and you'll see sometimes I do clinics with another lady called Pam Siddons, and she's the best practitioner. And I'll bring her in to clinics where I will teach horsemanship, and her job is to help people get over blocks.
Okay.
She doesn't ride, knows nothing about horses, loves them. Her son now has a pony, and I teach him.
Okay.
But she just helps people to get over their blocks with her therapy she uses.
Okay.
And again, it takes them away from the horse for a minute. They get a little bit of help on the outside, come back and ride. So there's support off the horse and support on the horse at the same time.
Yep.
I also go to, I will use just about anything. I'll go to entrepreneurial workshops and I'll bring home things I learn in those sort of workshops that are for me, but I'll bring them back and use them with my clients as well on them.
Yep.
I figure I pay for it, I own it, I can use it.
Oh, exactly. And use it within your niche, within your area of expertise. Yep.
Yeah, you definitely adapt it. Some of my clients, if I go and do something new, will say, am I the guinea pig this week? And you go, maybe not. Maybe I'll practice by myself first.
Yes. Okay. Look, what I'd like, because everyone loves case studies, if they sort of put themselves, I've been in that position, that's where I am now. Tell us about a case study about someone that you've helped. Help them start off as a nervous rider and then they've got confidence. Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, I've got one. I wouldn't say that she's over being nervous.
Tell us what she was like when she started.
Yes, she still does it a little bit, totally freezes. In other words, hops on the horse and there's nothing behind her eyes.
Yes.
And if you try to talk to her, she just says, yep.
Yeah.
Does nothing but says that.
Yep.
And then you're in trouble. And people at clinics and things also know she still has moments of this, but I've worked out now I just keep, and sometimes people at clinics when she comes will get quite horrified at how I treat her because I'll speak to her and then I'll yell or clap my hands. Yep. But I have to get her conscious brain to click in.
Okay.
And what I do with her, I wouldn't actually say she's nervous now. It's a learned response to save herself. It hides. It's a way to hide from what could happen. She did have a major accident on her horse. She now realises that when I'm talking to her and I need to get her attention, that it engages her brain and I ask her questions. I just fire questions at her to make her think and get away from what's happening around her. And, of course, that calms the horse. That calms the horse right down.
Yes.
As well, because she thinks and she's distracted from actually just freezing, because when you freeze, your legs clamp on, you bounce in the saddle, you hang on to the reins tight, and the poor horse doesn't have a chance. There's no communication. So, she's actually acknowledged that this is what's needed for her to help her with that. And we've progressed where every so often we take her off her own horse because that becomes a familiar thing and you freeze up in that familiar territory, and we'll put her onto one of my horses occasionally or one of her friends has a lovely horse that's a very good supportive horse for her. And I don't use mine for this often. She actually can ride.
Yeah.
Just a freezing up then allows a dangerous situation to develop. And I've found that putting her onto another horse also helps because she trusts my training or she trusts her friend's training and she relaxes and can move ahead, and then putting it back on her own horse, you've broken the pattern. We've just broken that little pattern of freezing on the horse. And, of course, it's repetition. The more you do that and break the pattern, eventually it's like a layer on top. Every so often the freezing will come back out, but it gets less and less over time.
Yes.
So,
okay.
And the other thing is every so often if she gets to a stage where she doesn't come out of it as quickly, she freezes too much, I'll just have to say to her, okay, it's not about me or the horse today, is it? Something's happened at home, that's not my business. But have a look at that. Have you left what's happening at home, or have you brought it onto the horse? Yes,
which can happen quite often.
Yeah. A lot of people, so I don't know if men do it, I know women do it, we go out to ride our horse and this is my time. I'm going to ride my horse. It's all about me. We get on the horse, and then the fight we had with our husband, the kids who didn't pick up their clothes, the boss who yelled at you, it all comes out because you suddenly relax and all those little barriers you've been holding back all of a sudden they're down, and then you just don't cope. And it was nothing to do with the horse, the instructor, the situation at the time. It was to do with everything else. So if it gets to that stage with the freeze up, I'll just and say, is there something else? We just need to stop for a minute and put that aside, because that's not coming to this time.
Yes. Okay. Just thinking, Sue, about the questions, because it's very easy, and just non-English speakers, like people think they'll go and talk to someone who doesn't speak English. They've learned to say yes, so they'll have a huge, big, long conversation and the person's just nodding their head going yes, 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 because they're telling the person. So if you as an instructor is just telling the person, it's easy for them to just nod and say yep, yep, yep. Even closed questions, closed questions where you ask for one answer, could be yes, no, or 7 or 10, like one word typed is one answer. But it sounds like you're then asking for open questions. You're opening her, you're questioning her, so she has to.
Definitely. Yes, that's exactly what I do. So we'll do an exercise in change of direction, and I'll say, so what did I want you to do there? What was I asking for? Do you understand why I asked you to do that, and can you describe what I wanted you to do? And there'll be something we've done a lot. So there is the opportunity for a right answer. It's not a setup where I'm going to be right and they're going to be wrong. It'll be, do you understand why I asked for that? Can you describe what I wanted? Okay, you're about to do a lead departure or a shoulder in. Tell me before we go what you're going to do and the sequence you're going to do it in. So it'll be questions like that to make the brain, the conscious brain, click in and walk away from the part of that, your subconscious, that's just saying, she's not a good coach. She wants you to get hurt. Because your subconscious, I know,
yes.
as a client, I've been in there with people asking me, and I've been thinking, I'm going to do it in the back of my head. There's a little voice going, don't be an idiot.
Yes.
And then you do it and you go, that wasn't that hard.
Yes, that's right. And I'm just going to say, because she's then talking, repeating, telling you the answers, telling you what she feels. But within that, you've done the breathing exercises. So she's breathing as well, because she has to be talking.
Yes, and you've made her. Even the other part when that happens, when people get so nervous, uptight, or they go into this freeze up, this protection thing, which isn't a protection on a horse. If you can just make them, and I'll say this as well, say, okay, you've got to look around. Tell me what's on the horizon. Look around, move your head. Lift your chin and move your head. And, of course, what people don't realise is that when we become scared, we close our chest, we close our pec muscles, and what we perceive as anxiety, it probably is, but it can also just be a lack of oxygen. So if you can get them to open up through the chest and look around at the countryside, next thing they've relaxed and the horse has gone, oh, thank God. and that's amazing. If you can make someone look at the horizon, that changes everything as well. So that's another tip, yeah.
If you're an equestrian coach or a horse riding instructor, or even if you aspire to be one, have a look at the free video series for horse riding instructors on the Horse Chats website. Go there now, have a look, horsechats.com. Yes, because nervous riders, sometimes it's fine if you've got someone who comes along, nervous rider, you've got a school horse that is going to be able to cope with nervous riders. But sometimes they come on their own horses. What sort of things are you looking at with their own horses to know that they're even going to be safe to ride? Because maybe they're nervous because the horse is nervous and the horse is not going to be safe to ride, and that's just their intuition telling them, don't get on this horse. It's not going to end up well. What do you do there? What do you have in place there?
Most of them will argue with you. I'll see that all the time. I'll see a horse isn't safe to ride, and they've brought it along, or you've gone to their place for a lesson.
Yep.
And you try to be really honest, and I'm afraid sometimes I'm bluntly honest, and it will hurt their feelings because they're emotionally attached. They love their horse, and that's right. That's why we have them. But sometimes it's like bad friends. I've had friends that when I was a teenager, and holy hell, I loved those friends, but my mother didn't like me having those friends because they were a bad influence on me. And sometimes this happens with the horse. So the first thing I'll do, you're not going to change their mind. They love their horse. It's a relationship they don't want to get out of. So you'll say, hand it to me. I'm not big on groundworking. I want to ride. I'll lunge or groundwork my own horses, but I will, at a clinic, in a lesson, I will actually say, I carry gloves. And if anyone's listening and you're going to groundwork a horse, put a crash hat on. People die from lunging horses. If a horse kicks you in the head, it can kill you.
Yep. Especially one that's a bit fresh.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? When you groundwork a horse that's naughty and been challenging the rider a lot, and you suddenly change the status quo to, okay, I'm actually a human and I'm a predator, whether people like that or not. Humans have our eyes in the front of the head. And horses are naturally afraid of predators. And then all of a sudden we take the fear factor out. And then we let the horse cross the line. And now someone's got to fix that. And it's not pleasant. As I tell people when I'm pushing the horse around, I say, don't think I enjoy this. I actually like to be nice to horses all the time. And so while you're pulling them back into line a little bit and showing them what you're going to do on the ground and taking some of the energy off for them, those horses sometimes will have a go at you because you've changed the status quo. And as I explain it to my clients, it's like the Big Bang Theory. You've let your horse write the roommate's agreement, and it's as big as Sheldon Cooper's, or it's bigger. That roommate agreement is huge, and they don't want to relinquish any of it. And quite often those horses aren't happy horses either because there's no herd authority. They're suddenly in control of a human, which they're not supposed to be. So I'll groundwork them, and I'll groundwork and explain what I'm doing, and I'll be very careful with them on the horse. And then once we get them back onto the horse after we've groundworked the horse and shown the horse that he has to behave a little bit, we'll start then applying that on the horse. If it's a client over time, I'll give them things to do. So when you tie your horse up or you're rugging him, be aware that if your horse takes a step towards you, he may want his bottom scratched. He may also be seeing if he can push you. You take a step away and he goes, oh, I can take space. Yes. So little things like that. I'm not talking about walking in and beating a horse to death. I'm talking about make him step out of your way. When you rug him, make him stand still and give you space, not step into you. And then we unconsciously just step back and keep doing up the leg straps. We let him rub his face on us to get the flies off. And all of a sudden, in his pecking order, we're no better than the tree down the paddock.
Yep. Okay.
And he's big and strong, and we're squishy and we break.
Yes.
So, things like that. When that does happen, I will groundwork a horse. I have taken to lately teaching more groundwork because people also, I find, nervous riders or riders who lack knowledge tend to lack energy when they groundwork. They'll try to make their energy in themselves really small so they don't offend their horse. And in doing that, the horse has to take control again.
Yep.
So they need to have the energy up to a certain level where the horse at least pays them some attention and doesn't just run around them in a circle and rote, that you're actually asking the horse to step away, come in, change direction. And he understands that you do have a certain energy level that you will maintain.
Yep.
Because I watched all the time. They had the shoulders down, the hands down low, and the head down, and already we've started the situation.
Slumped over. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They look depressed, actually, like they need medication.
Yes. Now, the exercises, the groundwork exercises, what do you do if you're checking a horse to see, to make sure that they're going to be safe to get on?
Okay, I'll send the horse. So I have a long dressage whip or a driving whip and a rope halter, which I set down low on the nose, not up high, set it down low so it's on cartilage on a bone. Yep. Because some of these horses will drag you around.
Yes.
And so I'll send the horse out like I'm lunging it, and then I will take the face. I don't like a horse to lean on me on the lunge, and I think I want them light when I ride them. So I'll take his face towards me. In other words, taking his front feet. So the horse faces me, then I'll send him again. So I'll send and bend a few times. That way, especially if some of them will kick you, it helps me stay away from the hooves, and they do know that they have to come in. And I'll also push them out, but I'll push them out with my whip. I do use a tail of the rein sometimes if I don't have a whip handy. I don't beat them. I tap on their belly where the leg goes.
Yep. And
so I'll push the horse away from me. I'll get a leg yield on a circle. So I'll say, can you push your belly out now? Can we push the hip away? I brought the face to me. I pushed hip away and change direction. I also don't just go left, right. I'll go left, right.
Okay.
Then I'll go left again and then right, left. So I don't set up a where the horse knows he's going to change direction all the time until I can see that the horse's head's come down, his eyes softened, and he's actually got his ears on me and listening.
Okay. Yep. Good. All right, then. We want to get you back to talk about this a bit more, I think, because I think you've got a lot of knowledge there that we want to share with our listeners, and I'm sure you've got some extra pulling out your toolkit, and you can pull out lots of things. And I'm sure that you're very open to learning as well. And I know that you're a clinic junkie, you're probably a seminar junkie, and you're learning all the time. So if you can, organise a time to come back and talk about this a bit more. But meanwhile, just let us know what you're planning in the future, what you've got on your agenda.
Well, I'm going to have my first attempt at working equitation next March over at Logan.
Okay.
I've had 4 of my clients went out and competed just recently at Sanford and all did very well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to continue, of course, riding Western dressage. It's a wonderful sport with great people, the most inviting people ever. But I've got a clinic coming up in January, which is working equitation, a Western dressage clinic at Allarote in early February.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we've gone any further than that with clinics yet, and I teach if I can. I teach 7 days a week. I just love it. What I do.
Yep.
And for a holiday, I went to Equitana and come back with more knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Oh, it was. I was down there too, and there was lots of people I was down there that I just didn't see. I didn't see them. They'd be on Facebook and they'd be saying they're catching a flight back from Melbourne. And it's like, oh, did you go to Equitana? I didn't even see you there. Just lots and lots of people. I'd planned to catch up with a lot of people, but just didn't. Yeah.
I'd be sending messages to people from Western Australia I wanted to see, and we'd be sitting in the same grandstand watching the same wonderful masterclass.
Yes.
And just didn't want to move, because if you moved, you missed it.
Yes. There were so many things on. Yeah. And big days too, from 8 o'clock on and right through till 10 o'clock at night. So, you couldn't watch everything and then catch up on your sleep. So you might have to, I'm sure that a lot of people like me sort of watched as much as they could and caught up on their sleep when they came home.
I will admit that if I stayed for the night classes, I tended to doze off.
Okay. All right.
I would nod and go, oh my God, I just missed extended trot. I missed half class. I've got to stay awake.
All right. Now, Sue, can you just sum up your philosophy with horses, with training and with riders? Just give the riders a message about their confidence and about the relationship they have with the horse, just in a sentence or two, just before we finish off.
That's a sentence or two. Okay, you can achieve it. It's
I have heard that you actually can be quiet early in the morning.
Yes, only early in the morning. After that, my mouth doesn't stop.
Okay.
Yeah, it is achievable. You can think that you can't do it, but you can. And when you come to one of my clinics, my regular girls go, you should see their faces. Someone will say, but Sue, I can't. And I look at them and say, that is the worst 4-letter word you could use around me. So you can. It is achievable. If you want it bad enough, you will get it. It will happen. And I stopped doing clinics. I did so many clinics that I was confused. I did too many different sorts. That's a big mistake people make. Stick with the same clinician for a while. Learn what they teach. And then a friend took me to meet a man called Ken May years ago in the early 80s in Roma. And the first thing I got from Ken was, he's actually a very good teacher. The first thing I got from him was, with hard work, it is possible. That's it. Mm-hmm. All you need is hard work and you'll get there. And that anyone can achieve that. No one died in their own sweat.
Yep. No, that's good. Good saying. All right. Now, if people would like to contact you before you're back on again, Sue, the detail will be on horsechats.com/Sue Franks, or go to horsechats.com, search for Sue or search for Franks with an S. Or do you want to tell us your contact details now, just in case people have got their pen out ready to go or their phone out ready to write to put it in?
Well, they can put my phone number in, 040 300 8390. They can ring me, or most people nowadays seem to want to use Messenger on Facebook. So I have a profile and I'll answer my profile or my page. I've got Sue Franks, the page and the profile.
Okay, good. And we'll also put those details on your page as well, just in case people have missed them there, and the Facebook links as well.
Yes, and there's always a calendar on my Facebook page. There's a calendar for the next month.
Perfect.
So I think we're actually fine with this month, but yeah, there's usually a calendar up.
Okay, no worries at all. All right, Sue, thanks very much for chatting today, and hopefully we'll chat to you sometime very soon.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
That's okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Now, if you're still there, you probably know that I'm absolutely passionate about education within the horse industry. That's why I host this podcast. My other venture is Online Horse College. Have a look now at onlinehorsecollege.com and I'll see you over there.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.